Good evening and welcome all to the City of Isanti City Council meeting for Tuesday, June 16th. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we could all rise for Pledge Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Every council member is present at this time. Do we have any public comment? No public comment at this time. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda with the amendment?
Motion to adopt agenda. Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mayor, good evening. We do have some additional items to add. We have an addendum, but then two more, if I may. And then also moving something from consent. So it is to adopt the agenda with the addendum that adds the revision to K3. It adds L5, which is resolution approving a temporary 3-2 beer license for the Isanti Lions Club for the 2020 street dance. It is also adding
What are we labeling
business-
that one, Ms. Wood?
that's
K3?
L5.
L5.
Yep, that goes on to consent. Under business, we do have a few things to add. For K6, it'll be approving or authorization from City Council for the Redbirds Association, Redbirds Baseball. They need the city's approval through the Minnesota Baseball Association to hold games within the city of Isanti. That'll be K6. K7, business item will be to add authorization for staff to engage in an appraisal for 50% of the cost for the PD Fire District facility. A resolution will be coming on that within minutes. And then K8 is an adjustment from the consent item of L2 will become K8, which was the resolution approving an agreement for services for position classification and compensation study.
Good Lord. Do I have a motion to adopt that agenda with all those addendums to it?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion from Councilman Collison and a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Proclamation, commendations, and certified awards. We have a presentation of the 2020 Isanti ambassadors and candidates, and we do have them in the audience if they'd like to step forward. We do have a cordless mic for these young ladies. Councilman Collison, hand them one or the other, or Miss Wood can grab it.
No, that's a hand, no, one.
You ladies can step forward if you wouldn't mind.
Hi, I'm Gabby Holboy. I'm Shelby Snyderich.
And I'm Madison Otten. We typically would have our candidates with us for this event and they would introduce themselves, but due to Corona and all of the stuff, we wanted to protect them and the community. So something I've enjoyed from my year so far is getting to meet all of the new people in different communities and going to different events and festivals that I've never been to before. I think that's been a lot of fun. And with extending our year till next year, 2021, I'm ready to enjoy a year with my candidates.
The past 11 months have honestly been one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had, and getting to do this for another year is just a real honor and pleasure, and I know all three of us ladies are very excited to continue to represent our community of Isanti and just get to have another amazing and fun year.
It is definitely an honor to be trusted with representing our beautiful community for another year, and we are so excited to celebrate the Isanti Rodeo Jubilee Days next year. Thank you.
So I have a question. Did you say we're not having new ambassadors, or we are having new ambassadors?
So all three of us are going to stay on for the following year.
Okay.
So it'll be as if we were crowned next month. So it'll be
Okay.
a full 24-month reign.
And that was because of the COVID. They've just extended you another year.
Mm-hmm. This is what most programs around the state have done that have their candidacy around this time.
Awesome to have you get ladies back again for another year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
I want to say it's kind of nice to see people in the audience for once.
Right?
Thank you for all
I
coming.
missed all you people.
We have.
They're not social distancing, though.
Yes,
should
they
be.
are. They're 6 feet apart. Every one of
No, I'm
them.
talking about the three candidates.
Oh, well, they're always together, so
But no, thank you guys for being here.
thank each and every one of you for being here. We all appreciate it. We'll move on to F2, the 2019 Wastewater Treatment Award. I do have that in front of me. Miss Wood, I think you could elaborate better on this than I could. I'm pretty sure this is not the first, nor it will be the last time we've gotten this award.
No, you're correct, Mayor. We've had this for a number of years. It is a testament to the great, fantastic staff that we have in our Public Works Department, which is, they do everything, whether it be water, wastewater, streets, storm, you name it. They do a great job of being jacks of all trade when it comes to things. That award is achieved by having great results. We do a lot of testing. There's a lot of mandated required reporting that we have to do for the wastewater facility, and that is just proof that we go above and beyond to make sure that we are crossing every T and dotting every I.
And I don't think there's one of us up here that would say there's nobody better than, well, maybe Councilman Collison. Otherwise, the rest of us would say our Public Works rules, the rest drool.
You also got to give thumbs up to Ms. Wood. She was part of that. She was the director of Public Works until she took the role of city administrator, and she was pretty diligent on seeing to things were run, and Matt Sylvester picked it up from there and followed her guidance. So thank you again, Josie, and thank all the Public Works for me, for
Thank
sure.
you. I will.
We maybe probably get a picture during the day, or does that happen already?
So, Councilmember, we did actually
Okay,
take
good.
pictures with the mayor and all of Public Works, and we will be sending that to the newspapers.
Perfect.
Ha ha. We were ahead of you, Councilman Collison. We'll move forward with the approval of the city council minutes from June 2nd, which was a regular meeting of city council, and April 21st, the planning commission meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Announcements. Park Recreation and Culture Board meeting will be Tuesday, June 23rd at 6 p.m. City offices are closed Friday, July 3rd in observation of Independence Day. City Council meeting will be Tuesday, July 7th at 7 p.m., and you're all welcome again. Immediately following that will be an EDA meeting, roughly around 7:30, we're in hopes of, but we've all done pretty good on making that 7:30 mark lately. Any council committee reports? None at this time. I can say that I've been pretty due diligent on attending the, oh darn it, Councilman Gordon, you got to refresh my memory. Thank you. The community education meetings, I've done those via Zoom. I've attended the last 3, and that Dave guy's working pretty hard. I'll say that. He's starting to opening things up slowly but surely. I know T-ball sign-up is there. They got swimming lessons there. They're practicing their social distancing and their PEE as well. He's doing what he can, and my hat's off to those guys. I think we're all in some tough spots right now, and we've all done fairly well for the cards we've been dealt. Other than that, there was nothing really that stood out to me in those meetings, except for he's slowly but surely starting to opening things for the community and the school district. So hopefully we can keep moving forward. With that being said, we'll move on to K1 under business items, the resolution approving a special event street dance for June 20th and September 12th. As the council knows, we did take Farmers' Daughters and rescheduled them for September 12th. And then the council, we weren't going to do the June 20th, and then the governor opened the doors up a little more, so we decided we were going forward with the June 20th street dance. We do have a band called Bad Jack, sorry. And we have, I I believe I've counted 7 different vendors that'll be there. So obviously the community, the vendors, this council, everybody's ready to have a little fun. So I look forward to that. With that being said, is there any discussion on this item by the council?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
One thing I just want to add, just let everybody know, you got to practice your social distancing. If you feel uncomfortable being in a public environment of such, by all means, please stay home. We're not telling people you have to come. You know, just like I said, if you feel uncomfortable, wear a mask. That's your prerogative. Not telling you you have to. Not telling you you shouldn't. It's your prerogative. But there again, just practice your social distancing. It's so we can continue to do these things. I myself feel that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And right now, I think that many they need this. And with all these trying times that we've had, I just heard on the news this morning that from all the riots that were going on, not one person has tested positive of COVID-19. And those were thousands of people, not just 250, not 500, not 1,000, thousands. So at this time, there has not been anything contributed to that, from that. So, but there again, as for myself, and I think I can speak for the rest of the council, I think people need to get back to some normalcy.
I'm going to walk around the street dance with a 6-foot tape measure, just so everybody knows.
You gotta
Sorry,
know
I'm
how to
kidding,
read
I'm
one
not doing
first.
it. Right, I have to read it. I can't do
So,
that.
but anyway, just so you guys know, you know, we are looking out for you also. Our mental health is just as important as our physical health. So, that being said, thank you.
I'll leave the mental health thing alone with you. Moving on to K2, resolution approving a liquor store license renewal for Padlock Designs Incorporated, DBA Sandbrook Golf Course. Ms. Wood, would you like to touch base on this?
Yes, Mayor, we do have Padlock Design, DBA Sandbrook Golf Course has submitted the full application, and staff is recommending, it's for renewal of their liquor license, recommending that approval be given, and we do have a representative from there in the audience, if you would like her to come speak.
By all means.
Come on, Sherry.
You don't get out of this for free, young lady.
Hello. I wasn't expecting to have to come up here. But yeah, we normally, the March renewal, we were unable to make that deadline. Lyle and I were still stuck in Arizona because of the COVID. We couldn't travel, and with his health conditions at the time. So that's why we're requesting it now.
Your business has got to be quite busy over there.
Yes, we were fortunate to be one that could open, and we've been blessed with a lot of new golfers. But you know, we've been really busy, and I'm glad that we've been able to contribute that to our community.
On a
Because
side
you're
note-
right, we need it. I mean, the people's mental
I was
health
just
is-
gonna say, is you're probably not as happy as we are, because now we can, if you're bored and you're tired of being cooped up, we got a golf course right over here. Just head on over there.
Yeah, and it's amazing that a lot of people that have lived in our community for many years didn't even know we were there. You know, so we're trying to work on that to get exposure that we're only 1 mile east of Highway 65, so.
I'd go golf, but you'd find my clubs in one of your ponds, so.
Oh, we've had that happen, so.
I'm
Wouldn't
pretty
surprise
sure.
me.
Just on a side note, Sherry, how is Lyle's health?
Not well.
Not good?
No.
Well, when you see him, tell him I said best wishes to him.
From all of us.
Thank you.
I've known him for 20 years, so. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Moving on to K3, approval of the COVID-19, I can't even say that word. See,
Preparedness.
this is where Steve is actually right, where I'd have to be able to read the tape measure. I can't even read that word. What is that word?
Preparedness.
Can't you just like go
Plan.
shorter words for me? I mean, right now I'm in kindergarten with my daughter, so.
I didn't make the word up. It was given to us by requirement. So Mayor, if you and council, in the addendum, you'll see a revised preparedness plan for the city of Isanti. The governor's orders did require businesses to reopen safely with a preparedness plan. It did not include the critical sector businesses that were already allowed to be open until June 5th came along. And then they did require critical sector businesses to have one anyways, even though we've always been open. The reason why there is an addendum on this is because we are required by the law to have this plan adopted by June 29th. However, they sent out new revisions yesterday. So staff was watching really carefully, and as soon as they sent them out, actually Ms. Brooks made all the adjustments this morning to make sure that we could get this approved as we are required to do so. Really what this plan entails is how we are going to have our workplace be safe for our fantastic staff that we have, but also for our patrons and our residents and business owners and et cetera, who come into all of our city facilities and make sure that they're safe and taken care of as well. And they have guidelines in there. So this will be distributed to all staff. It will be posted on our website. We did include a preparedness plan for our community center, which is also allowed to be open, as well as our events and programming, which we are continuing to do under the guidelines, do what we're able to do. So whether it's limiting the number of occupants, we do that, but we continue going on.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Quick question, if you don't mind, Steve. So on this, the COVID leave, so that's not gonna count against the normal paid sick leave, right? I mean, do we have to do that? Or, I mean, if you're sick, whether it's with COVID or the normal flu. You know, why are we extending additional leave for that case?
COVID leave is, in parentheses, is what we've categorized it within our internal workings. We are required by the federal government under the CARES Act to allow 80 hours for people to use for specific reasons for COVID leave. So if they are exposed to it, they are required and mandated to stay home. Unfortunately, while we are required to offer that to every single staff, and for part-time staff, it's a prorated amount, it's not the full 80 hours. We may not get reimbursed. It's looking like the cities won't, but a lot of businesses will, which is good for them, because it's something that the federal government is requiring us to give. It also was used for, not just for COVID sick reasons, but also for people who had childcare issues. They were allowed to take off to stay with their children because of the social distancing with schools, distance learning, and all that stuff as well. So we follow the guidelines and offer if we're required to do so.
So there's nothing we can do about that, that's just kind of been decided for us? So.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Most businesses have that same practice. It's required that they have to give it to, because of the pandemic.
I think under a certain number of employees, or maybe some, but 500? Was it 500?
No, you're
employees,
right.
but-
It's got to be a certain number of employees.
Yeah.
I'll second it then.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. You know, on that note, you're bringing my memory back here, which is hard to do at times. I wanted to say it when we were going to vote on the resolution for the special event street dance. I did, as I told you guys before, the governor did reach out and say that rural cities felt left out or of decision-making or left out of his conversations. And he took the full blame for it and then asked us. He also said that he understood that some cities were going against his orders and opening their cities, which we found out would not be the best interest of Isanti for insurance reasons, except for Councilman Gordon. He argued that. But I did call him, as I told you guys, and then we did send that letter. And I finally got a phone call back from the governor's office on Friday. But it wasn't the governor, nor was it his lieutenant governor. It was like me passing it to Miss Brooks. Hey, would you call this guy? And I refused to return that call. Because to me, that doesn't show very much importance.
Our leadership.
Or leadership. Thanks for covering that, Mr. Lundin. So I did want to tell you guys that yeah, he did reach out, but I was a little sickened. So I still have it on my voicemail. Because I was, I thought, well, I'll play it for each and every one of you if you want me to show you. I believe the guy's name was Paul, as a matter of fact. Obviously, that rubbed me the wrong way. That's why I thought of it. We'll move on to K4. For community development, Ms. Selman, call for public hearing and the nuisance abatement for 105 Railroad Avenue. If you'd like to cover that, Ms. Selman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In spring of 2019, the exterior wall at 105 Railroad Avenue had collapsed. The owner pulled a building permit to fix the wall in August of 2019, and the roof also sustained damage as well and needs to be repaired. Permits are valid for 180 days, which stays valid as long as you're making visible progress. The owner of the building has been working on the repairs for 10 months. Minspec has had several conversations and written correspondence with the owner about the repairs and the timing. The wall has been repaired but is not complete. As you can see, the outside still needs to be weather tight and sided. Also, the roof is not complete. The last written correspondence was from the owner. We asked them back in November to provide us a written timeline of when they're going to make the repairs. Requested that they give us that written timeline by December 10th. We got that on January 1st, and they said they were going to they were going to start the work and complete it as weather permitting. That was 6 months ago. I believe weather has been nice enough to complete this project. We sent a final letter to the owner indicating that the roof needs to be complete by June 15th, or that the council may take action. We had an inspection done on the 12th, and the fascia roofing is not complete. It's complete on the east side. Minspec spoke with the owner, and he stated he'll be starting work on the rear wall roof soon. No business is happening inside, which is part of the order because it's not a safe building, so that's good that they're not conducting their business. What I'm asking for the council tonight is, what do you want to do in this situation? It's been a long time. It has become an eyesore. It's become a nuisance. Would you like to abate this? If you would like to abate this, we would need to call a public hearing and address that there. And what we could do is fix it and assess, or you can take other alternatives if you'd like.
So we sent a letter to him saying that we were going to speak on this evening?
Correct.
And he's not in attendance, I would assume?
I'm not sure.
That shows importance.
Well, ask, maybe he is.
Huh?
She said she's not sure. Ask.
Is the owner of that building in attendance right now?
No.
I don't see him, and I've met him. No, he's not here. What would you like to do there, Councilman?
So what kind of structure is this?
It's that old building deal where the old cabinet shop is, kitty corner here.
Oh, yeah.
The wall collapsed over a year ago.
Yeah.
I believe I called Chief Myers on that.
Right on the railroad side, right?
Yeah. It was due to weather, I believe, Chief, and the trains coming by, or maybe it was just old age, or what was it? Just from being old. And I mean, right now, the way it looks, I think it's hideous. He's got like a plywood wall up there. The building's leaning to the left. The roof is leaking. I mean, it's not that the tin shack next to it's any better, but one step at a time.
So, Ms. Selman, what would a abatement do then? What would that do?
We would do the work and assess it, finish the roof, finish the siding, and assess it to the property.
Or
Or you could take further action, have it inspected, and see if it's needs to be raised or not.
I mean, we've given this guy over a year now, right? What has it been, a year and
Correct.
almost 2 years?
Is it structurally sound
No.
with only doing those repairs? Is it still gonna be a structurally
Yeah,
sound
there was
building?
an engineer's report, and based on the engineer's report, if you did the repairs, it would be fine.
If,
What did he do last summer? Wasn't somebody working on that last summer? I would walk by there almost daily and see somebody over there working.
Yeah, there was progress here and there. Did finally repair the wall. Again, it's not finished. You can see there's exposed boards. I mean, there's no weatherproofing. The roof has had a tarp on it all winter long. We've been in several trying to contact him several times. There's not response, didn't respond to my letter. It's just, typically we don't let something like this go on, but I wanted to bring it for the council to see what you wanted to do.
I mean, this is a point I'll make to you guys, is we're setting a precedence here. And we've given him every benefit of the doubt, and you know me, I'm the first one to say, hey, let's try to work with him. Let's try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to be that guy to come in there shaking my fist, but when is enough enough?
Yeah, I'd say enough's enough. I mean, we've been patient and tried to work with them.
So what do we do? Do we abate it? Do we take further action? I guess that's what Ms. Selman's looking for here. I mean, do we all agree something needs to be done?
Well, I agree with that. I mean, if we abate it, so then we attach it to his property, and if he doesn't pay, then we take it back like a tax. Levy or
No, what we would do is we call the public hearing if you want to do the abatement. So that actually would give them until July 2nd to come into compliance, really, right? Because we don't have the public hearing until July 2nd. And then you decide there how you want to do it. If you want to do the abatement, fix it, assess it. You would assess it to the taxes, and then it would go through that. If he doesn't pay his taxes, I mean, it takes a long time before it goes into forfeiture. But it'd just be attached.
How much would it cost us to complete it? Let's say we complete it, and then he doesn't pay his taxes, and then
Then we're out that money.
nothing. I mean,
Well, there's a way to recoup your, Mike, is there, can you speak onto that, please?
Yeah, if we were going to abate the nuisance or raise the property, in either case, any expenses that we incur in total, whether it's through a construction company to make the repairs or take the building down, any legal costs, any engineering, anything like that, all that could be assessed. Then if the taxes are unpaid after 3.5 years, you'd have a sheriff's sale in May of that year. Anyone buying the property would get notified by the county that there were existing assessments. And we would have an option at that time to either put the assessments back on with the new owner, or maybe decide that a new owner is the right move and walk away from those assessments, but it'd be up to the council.
I say we take it into a public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Gordon, I don't have the estimates of what it would cost to do the roof and the siding, but for that public hearing, I'll have those costs.
I'm not clear. Did you say we haven't heard from him for a long time? Is that what you said?
Written correspondence last one was January. Our inspector goes out there weekly to check on this, and also even more than that, to make sure that they're not actually doing work inside the building, building the cabinets, because they have an order not to do any work until it's safe. The last personal correspondence was on 6/12, and our inspector talked to him, and he said that he'll be starting the work on the rear wall roof. That's hard to say, rear wall roof. Soon.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we go to abatement, or public hearing.
Would that lead to an abatement then, the public hearing? Okay,
After the
yep,
public
I'll
hearing,
second
if he
that.
doesn't come, if he does happen to come in compliance by July 2nd, then we'd be abating it. Basically, it's giving him till July 2nd.
You're giving him more time.
Yeah.
But we have to follow the procedure, we gotta go into a public hearing anyway.
Oh, yeah. Somebody, let's do it.
So if we go to a public hearing, we're not necessarily making a decision on abatement or not.
No.
Correct.
We'll have more information at that time.
Correct.
Maybe by then he'll show real good progress.
Or importance, and maybe
Or
show
have
up
it
for the
done.
meeting.
July 7th, Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Yeah.
July 7th is the next council meeting, not,
Mr.
I said
England
July
knows who
2nd.
this person is, and he doesn't move very fast in anything, so I think I've had a cabinet face frame ordered from him for about 1.5 years, and I haven't gotten it yet, so.
We can't work in there.
No,
For the
that
last
was
year and a half.
For 1.5 years, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he hasn't been able to work in there for almost 2 years.
yeah.
So I have a motion from Councilman Lundin to go to a public hearing. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
And a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to
K6.
K6.
Five.
Five, sorry.
Sorry.
K5, we did label that one the Redbirds, correct, Ms. Wood?
No, K6 will be the Redbirds. K5 is authorizing purchase of generators for city facilities.
No, I didn't write that one down. That was my error. Go ahead, Ms. Wood.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Council. In our capital improvements plan, this has been something that's been talked about even before that plan was being developed, as probably many of you do remember, is getting all of our ducks in a row for if there was to be a large emergency, are we prepared? And I think that staff's position on this is that we owe it to our residents that we are prepared. And we can say not only is it written down what we will do, but we have the infrastructure in place to make sure that we can provide services like they would like and that we should, perhaps, I would justify. So what we have,
How long have we not been prepared, Ms. Wood? And this isn't your error, so I don't want nobody pointing at you. I don't want nobody pointing at anybody. This is,
the only thing I can say is City of Isanti has been around for a long time. We haven't had generators. These are new generators. They are not replacing any old generators. We've not had generators at these facilities. These are new. We do have a generator at our water treatment plant that was put in the installation in 2008. That does run well house 3. We also do have a generator at our main lift station, just because there is no place for that to go if we had a power outage. So that one has had a generator for many, over a decade as well. So these would be for other locations. It would be for our remaining lift stations that we have listed in the memo: Rum River, Carlson, Deer Haven, Palomino, Subway, BMX, East Jewel, and Unity. It's also adding one to 8th Avenue. 8th Avenue is more expensive than the others because it is it's our deepest lift station that we have in the city. We also would be adding generators to the community center, because then that would be listed on our emergency management plan through Chief Myers that it is a place that can house people. We would also report that to the EOC and the county, because it does have a kitchen, it does have restrooms. It's the only facility that the city has that we can help out if need be. Hopefully it never comes to that, but we are, again, prepared. We would be adding one to the police/fire department/well house 1. That is a great thing to have because we need our PD, we need our fire to have power, but also we do always blend water. We always pull off 2 wells at the same time, so then we are covered. We will not be adding a generator to well house 2 because we don't need it. We only need 2 of the 3 to work at the same time. And then the public workshop. We have a lot of equipment that will need to get out in any kind of emergency, whether it be a large fire, a tornado. We need to be able to get the equipment that we need to get those services rendered. Things that you see in here is installation. Most facilities do not have the switch that they need to take this, so it is implementing a lot of electrical work to these facilities. We also have the City Hall is going to have a switch incorporated into here, so we can run this as an EOC for the City of Isanti. However, we will not place a generator here, which does save some money. We will use this location because, one, we're short on space, but also because we have 1 portable generator, and then this is the location that would go to. So you see the funds before you. It does come to a considerable amount of money. We have some contingency in there. Public Works will be doing the concrete pads. Otherwise, this will be subbed out. We did reach out for and solicit quotes. We only received 1 quote. They are the state bid. So we have included that within the resolution. The one thing that is not in the memo and resolution would be installation of fencing or hedging where required. Some of the zoning districts do require there to be some kind of barrier around it. These are not natural gas, they're diesel, so they do have a diesel tank on them, which makes them larger. So we will cover them with some kind of fencing if that's required in that district.
to me, I think this is well overdue.
I can't believe we don't have it already, but is there an advantage to going diesel? I mean, do you think natural gas would be easier to use?
You know, it really comes down to preference. The great thing about natural gas is that it's smaller. You don't have to, you still have to run it. We'll run it about once a week to make sure that everything's working properly and just to keep the fuel going through it. The downfall of the natural gas is if you have a gas lane break or if the train takes it out, because we happen to have the train here and we have the main gas line running through our city, then you don't have generators because they're on those lines. Now, they typically backfeed really quickly, but then that takes a piece of the puzzle out.
You took the words right out of my mouth, so I didn't even have to finish talking. It's well overdue. I can't believe we don't have them already.
This is a plan that I worked on 6 years ago. Started it.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. K6 would be the Isanti Redbirds.
Yeah, so Mayor and Council, this would be authorizing Redbirds to conduct baseball games within the city of Isanti and authorize staff to formalize by resolution with said action. We do not have it drafted, but we will do so upon your decision. And we do have Mr. England here to speak on behalf of Redbirds if requested.
I think I make a motion just to approve it.
Do we have to worry about all that government orders and that type of stuff like we do with the street dance?
Councilmember Burgley, they are required to have what actions that they need to have in place. The city is not required to approve those plans. They are to have those plans and make sure that they're in conformity with the guidance.
So what are we approving? Just
Because
we don't approve them
The
any
Minnesota
other
Baseball
year.
Association is seeking that they have approval from the city because their entity is within the city.
I'll second.
Okay. I'm just wondering what's different than this year than last year, that's all. I mean, is it because of the COVID?
Yes.
Yes.
Then I would think we'd have to be
That's why
concerned about them worrying about social distancing and that type of
I'm
thing.
pretty
I mean,
sure.
I want them to play baseball, don't get me wrong, but we all worried about the insurance.
Mr.
and that
Dave
type of stuff.
England's in the audience here. He can step up and answer any questions you got, Councilman Burgley.
Okay, step up.
Mr. England, if you would mind stepping up to the podium,
I
sir.
know Dave's involved with,
I can say that they did reach out to Ms. Wood asking permission for, what, was that a Saturday game?
Sunday.
Sunday game. I responded to that email, and I'm trying to thumb through here and look for it. I gave them my blessing. I wanted them to play Sunday. The only stipulation I had was they had to win. And of course, I said, go Redbirds. And come to find out they won, so.
well, we just approved the street dance too, and we talked about social distancing and all that type of stuff.
Right, which I'm sure Mr. England can reassure us. that-
Yes, we had a few people there. I mean, it was a decent amount, good crowd for town ball. And everybody stayed, we had a sign basically saying, keep your distance, stay safe, do that. And we look around, it's like, oh, okay, everybody's 6 feet apart, except for the families, they were all together, but everything else went really well.
Well, I want you to play baseball.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be,
I know.
I'm not trying to be difficult.
I understand.
Yeah, so,
We want to play as bad as everybody else
yeah,
does, so.
I want to attend the game. What day is it on? Saturday or Sunday, you said?
We don't know yet. We haven't scheduled any more games yet. We got some more possibly this weekend, but we haven't, that'll be on the website. You can look on the website and
Are you able to
we'll
open?
update them.
Are you
Everybody
able-
wants us to play us.
Are you able to open the concessions?
No,
Not
the
yet.
concessions is not open yet.
Okay.
Oh, that's our own choice because, there's things on that side yet too.
Right.
Any other comments, questions, or concerns for Mr. England? I'm all for this. I say we let him
Yeah,
play.
me too. I'm all for it. I just wanted to cover our end, so.
Oh, yeah. No, that's why we had we had a little checkout sign that everybody had to sign when they walked up and did the whole 9 yards.
Electronic thermometer, Dave.
Not quite yet, but
I'm
close.
kidding.
I found
Taking
one, I would've
everybody's
had one.
temp.
Yeah, with the electronic thermometer.
Yeah, the temperature, yeah.
So
I just need a motion to.
I did. I motioned it.
I'm
Dan
sorry.
Carlson
So
seconded it.
no more discussion, comments, questions, concerns?
Thanks, Dave.
Play ball.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Good luck, Redbirds.
I want you to say, all those in favor, say play ball.
Moving on to K7, which is the 50% cost Ms. Wood, of the
Yes.
fire district in the city?
Yes, this resolution is before you. It is authorizing payment of up to 50% for appraisal of the police department / fire station facility. Staff did draft this just as this was discussed at committee of the whole earlier this evening. And we did put a dollar amount in there not to exceed because we didn't want to have to come back to council to approve that. So that is why you do see it's 50% split if the fire district does agree to that, and not to exceed a total amount of $3,000, and our portion would be $1,500 of the max.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to which was L2, we have now made K8, which would have been the resolution approving an agreement for services for position classification and compensation study. This was requested by Councilman Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's in the budget, but $17,000 to do a study to see if we need to hire more help or pay more. I mean, I trust our staff to make those decisions. I mean, I think it should be pretty obvious. If we need more help, then we hire more help. And to spend $17,000 for somebody to tell you you should hire a bunch more help, I highly doubt they ever tell you that you should let people go, do they? Or that you should combine positions.
Actually, this study does not determine if you need to hire or let people go.
Okay.
This study is going to be, well, let me just give a little context of the study. Typically, in this League of Minnesota Cities, just recommend that cities do this every 10 years to make sure they're in compliance with a lot of state and federal regulations and pay equity compliance. We've never had one in the city of Isanti. What this study is going to do is look at all of our job descriptions, make sure that they're up to date and in compliance with state and federal regulations. I'm not going to say whether ours are or not, but it's well overdue. It's going to look at a classification, which is assigning points. So right now, the city uses, they all use a point system, but unfortunately with ours, we've contorted and abused and used different point systems along the way that we don't have one. And when we did our pay equity compliance, it'll be due in January, but 3 years ago, it's due every 3 years. They said that you need to revise this plan. This has to be the system needs to be revised to be where it's following a classification system that isn't, that is tracked, or that's something that they can compare with others, because that's the whole point of pay equity, to make sure. And then the last thing it does is a compensation analysis. So where it doesn't tell you necessarily if this person or this person needs to make more or less money, but it's going to look at how overall our positions, and we have about 35 independent positions, compare against others to not only help and make sure that we're competitive for recruiting purposes. And we had a lot of challenges in our city with recruiting good, talented people, and happy to say that we have a great group of people now, and we want to make sure that we retain them. It costs the city a lot of money and hundreds of thousands of dollars to continually turn over. Things that should have been done years ago are still coming up because we've had that turnover. So while we aren't required to do anything with the data we receive, it'll let us know where we're sitting and help save the money overall with the staff that we have.
And we can't come into compliance with that, with those points requirements on our own, or?
Nope, I'm gonna say no.
I mean, it could be done, but it's having the time to do it.
Could be done, but probably gonna cost us more than $17,000.
Well, one thing that we did, and I tried to be strategic when I knew that this was coming up, because this has been in the back
burner
of the budget and the back burner, but I mean, just kind of like looming in the weeds of our budgets every year for many, many years. We hired the administrative intern, which is hired for this summer for 3 months. One of the ways that we were able to shave off, depending on which proposal you look at, between $1,500 to $5,000, is to take a company that will give us the template to make sure we have certain elements added into our job description, and then we're actually doing the work of typing up the new job descriptions, and they're just checking, yep, you did that, you did that, you did that. So we're gonna be saving thousands of dollars by having that person help and do as much internally as we can, which is why I had the proposals break things out so much. One didn't, but they were supposed to break them all out, so I can say, okay, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this.
I've seen those reports and the detail is crazy, how much they actually get into, and for staff to do all of it, that'd be impossible.
Well, and one thing that did come up during our union negotiations a couple of years ago, or a year ago, time flies, is that they wanted to see where we compared. And I think it's a valuable thing to have a third party evaluate it, especially when you're looking at unions, than to say, well, you know, if I say, you know, you guys don't need a raise, I don't think they're gonna believe me as much as they're gonna believe an independent third party that says, you know, we looked at the market, you do or you don't need anything. For a union, I think they would like to see that as a report, not internally done.
They'll look at other cities that are comparable with population, and if they got a Class A water plant versus Class B water plant, they do so many comparisons that a lot of details get looked at.
And as Councilman Lundin said, if we were to pay our staff to do it, it's probably gonna be more than 17,000.
So I mean, all of this though is geared toward, because the way I read it, it was geared toward more like they were gonna go through you work with each department head and figure out, you know, if you needed to hire staff, or
No.
that's part of it, or no?
Well, I'll be working with the department heads to make sure they go through all their job descriptions, to make sure that they're accurate, because what we have job descriptions that have been used for over a decade and not been revised as we've gone through, and jobs have changed and, you know, just been modified to what's needed, making sure that they're accurate. Staff's gonna be doing that part internally, but actually the part of hiring or combining positions is not this study.
They're not looking at that?
No.
Okay.
I'll agree with.
That's something that I
yeah.
did, and we, that's something that
That's
we
right.
did already internally, and we presented that. That was with me working with departments to do a staffing plan that we looked at last year.
Yeah, and if they're saying that they can retain our employees better than we could in the past, I mean, we had so much turnover when I first came on here. I think 3 out of the 5 of us remember it was a revolving door for a while, and
16 to be exact, in 1 year.
what's that?
16 to be exact in 1
16
year.
employees in 1 year?
In 1 year.
Yeah, it was crazy, and so retention is very important. You said that was part of the study, retention. I bet you we would save $17,000 in just
What have we
just
had, Ms.
retention.
Wood? 1, I believe? 1?
Well, we had one retire, and we did have one quote to resign. We've had a couple from the liquor store for part-time staff. But
So we're definitely on the right
if you
track
made it 3
anyway.
years,
Yeah.
you were a tenured employee in Isanti
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
$17,000 to get the job descriptions correct?
Job
essentially?
description, a new classification system, which uses the job descriptions to do, and then also the
kind of-
compensation analysis.
Kind of bring us in
Those 3.
compliance with the state.
It brings us in compliance with the state, which for the pay equity report, and they actually do the report for us. That's included in this, because you have to justify the point system and classification that you use to the state, and they will do all that work for us.
And how does that retain employees? You mentioned retention. How does that help retain?
Pay equity.
Retention-
If
What?
we're
Pay.
paying them what
Pay.
they're worth.
Well, no, I want to hear from her. She studied it, so.
The retention part comes in from being competitive. If you can go to our neighboring city and make $10,000 more for just driving, 10 minutes,
For
it's
doing the-
looking at that.
yeah.
We want to make sure that we have people being, not looking over the fence, staying with us and getting those years of experience that you really can't put a price tag on it. It makes such a big difference.
Right.
I don't see why we can't just look at an ad for help wanted and see how it compares, I mean,
But then you gotta compare job descriptions, and you're talking a wide variety of job descriptions.
yeah.
A lot of staff time we're going to be paying.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Any other comments, questions, concerns? I have a motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda by Councilman Burgley and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Burgley. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Lundin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Therefore, we stand adjourned.